Today is finally the day that I'm doing black currant cuttings. The bed is completely prepped, and so what I've found is I really only like to use 1-year-old wood. So here's one of several blocks. This is titania, and what I do is I do harvest fruits off of these for sure, but it's mostly I'm pruning these for lots of wood for cuttings. So I'm basically coming in here and taking a nice, like 1 foot, 1-year-old wood cutting off of the top of every growing point. And you can see here, that dead stump there is where I did the cutting last year. And now there's 5 or 6 that came off of that, maybe 7 if you count the lower ones. Each one of those I take a cutting. So these plants are just producing more and more of that kind of wood that I want. And so I don't know exactly how long this can go on. I think maybe 5 or 6 years, then I'll take the whole shoot down to the ground and let a new shoot come up from the base and start the process over again. So that's the cuttings. I try to get them nice and uniform. This way I get a plant that's roughly the same size mostly every time. And these are so vigorous, and I'll show you next part of sticking them in the bed. I got sidetracked, but I'm back on it now, and it's just a kind of a cool effect in the light. All these cuttings are the only thing I can see now. Makes the work very clear what to focus on. So we'll go up and we'll stick some of these in. This probably looks crazy, but I'm working with a new kind of headlamp that I got that's motion activated. You can turn that function on and off, but it's really nice because you just go like this and it's off, that and it's on. That way if your hands are dirty or wet, you can not have to fiddle around with a little button. So here we are at the place where I'm planting these. This is a bed that I made out of old cinder blocks from a building, and it's filled mostly with compost and rotting wood chips. And so this has about 6 inches of rotting wood chips on top of the sort of composty soil that's underneath there. And so I'm basically just sticking these in. Whoop, sometimes that happens when you hit a wood chip. I'm sticking these in some distance. Let's say most of them are 10 inches or a foot long, and I'm putting them maybe just 3 or 4 buds above the surface, although I'm really not particular about it. It's just I try to get most of the cutting underneath the surface, and the spacing is just sort of maybe 4-inch, anywhere from like a 4 to 6 inch grid. I find you can do them much closer, but these in this bed, they get so big so fast that they'll shade the ones that grow fast will shade the other ones out. So I don't seem to win by getting much tighter than this, or the plants that you'll get a less even stand of plants because some will be really big and some will be really tiny. I'd rather have a little more spacing and a kind of even plant stand. And just also to say, when I started doing these years ago, I had not a lot of material and not a lot of plants, and so I would have taken this and probably got minimum 2, if not maybe even pushing 3 cuttings out of a piece like this. And that is totally fine. I mean, you can honestly root a cutting with black currants out of this little piece and this little piece and this little piece and maybe that. So, I mean, that would be kind of crazy, but you could easily get 2, if not 3 cuttings out of each one of these. I just find if you do have the material and you have these nice big long shoots of all first-year wood, if you stick the whole thing, you'll get a really nice size, solid plant that the next year could bear a little bit of fruit. So that's kind of fun.